Hi everyone, welcome to All Four Queens. Harem. So I want to talk about the harem and on the shelf and all the things that we see when we walk on the spiritual path. And obviously people that, you think are actually nice to you or kind to you, and actually they're not. They're just pop in and out to steal your energy and do whatever they do with it. But in terms of the harem, it seems that there's this thing in the world where people I think years ago they called it the little black book, and now it's like the harem, the shelf of people that they just go and, connect to, and then they just do that recycle thing. But the question I have is, do they all know that they're in the harem? I.e. sometimes they're all exes and friends and things like that. Do they all know? Are they all part of some sort of coven cult that they all know they're in this sort of harem and they're just recycled? And if so, then why would the people in the harem attack someone like me? Because I'm assuming, and I say this when I speak to my guides and stuff and they drop me stuff, that it is a harem that's come for me. Now that could be a harem of men, women, a mixture of both. I think, some people are into that, and therefore, you've got men attacking you and women attacking you, because obviously the whole spell work on my face. But the question there for me, if we have life in the spirit, the person that really loves you for your spirit first. So all this attack of my exterior really is more of a projection of how they see themselves, because obviously they must be really uncomfortable with how they look if they have to attack the way that somebody else looks. Because for me it's about the spirit. So if the spirit is a kind spirit, then it's a kind spirit. If it's a mean spirit, which obviously all this denotes they are, why do that? Because obviously if you're in a harem and you're prepared to sit on the shelf, then why attack other people? That doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. And so for me, why not have the power of discernment and set clear boundaries? Because for me, whoever the male element of it is, and I'm going to get onto that in a minute, is if they're going to have a harem and then decide to detach from the harem, isn't it their responsibility to set clear boundaries of what ex-baby mamas, if they've got baby mamas, or ex-lovers, if they're into the same sex? Isn't it their responsibility to set clear, healthy boundaries and use discernment that obviously if they want to go and meet new people, that these people stay in their lane? Because for me, that should be the way it is. Now, I don't know their circumstances, obviously, but for me, I'm assuming and I'm sensing that I'm being attacked by a harem, and then that harem's family, friends, and it goes wider and wider and wider. And I don't know if it's some sort of church or whatever that are all attached to. Because when I met the lady in the service station and this couple came and spoke to me, and they were really kind actually, they did come over and actually see me. There was a lot of people coming and you could see why they were coming, but they were actually kind and they did actually sit and have a chat and to get to know me on a personal level. And they just said something odd that they said, and then they said, well, it sounds like it's a jealousy issue to us. So they obviously knew something about what was going on, and they'd obviously come to the conclusion that it was based on jealousy and envy. So for me, if you're in a harem and you're part of the pick-me bunch, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but if you choose to be that, then why would you go out and attack other people? And then certainly, why would you use the dark arts to then keep tracking me and then trying to attack me from within? It doesn't make sense. Now, I'm assuming it's got something to do with money, because obviously my guides have just mentioned something about marriages and inheritance and insurance policies, and I don't know whether someone out of his harem has got some fake marriage with me of the same sex, because I'm not into the same sex, but someone's done something like that and now they've got some sort of policy that they're trying to cash in, which is why all this crazy stuff is going on. or it could be a man that's done that, I don't know, but there's something in it, and obviously that they give you some sort of intuitive hit. But I just don't understand, if you're in a harem and you've chosen to be in that and chosen to be one of the many, why would you attack somebody? And then why does the person who no longer wants to be associated on an intimate level with these people not choose discernment and also set healthy boundaries? So it's food for thought, isn't it? So I'm keeping it on there just for reference. Somebody is in my phone watching everything I'm saying and doing, but I'm keeping it for reference because it does seem as though there is something in that, and I do feel like I'm being attacked. However, all this, it just says how insecure they are, really, from my perspective, because you wouldn't need to do any of this if you were secure in yourself. That's the way I see it anyway, but and also, to say that I've got an issue when quite clearly I would say that they probably need a bit of support and a bit of help, really. But, I'm no medical doctor, and so I think that hopefully they do get it, because to stop my forward movement and to make life challenging for me doesn't solve the problem. And if somebody wants to leave, they're going to leave anyway. And as they know, because they're already in my phone and everything, no one's here, no one's called me. And if they do text me or they call me, the call's already deleted before it even starts. And I'll give you an example. In the April of 2024, I was in the library in where I used to live before I left. And this woman turned up, and you could say, I just knew that she'd got some sort of European stance to her or something, because she'd been in this big Jeep, and not normal, the sort of car that she was in, and it had a Texas number plate on it. And she rushed into the library, so I made sure I was around people, and she was just hovering around, and everywhere I went she followed. She never said anything. But she was dressed, it looked like she was dressed to go skiing, which was really weird in the UK. It was just that attire, it just looked very odd. And I sensed that it wasn't something right with it. But I get the impression that she was part of whatever all this is. And then obviously in the 2023, my phones got hacked, all my social media got hacked. And that's when, and then I started getting phone calls about, services, which obviously that sort of, and there was just lots of silly messages and stuff like that, which obviously there'd been some crazy lies spread. So I obviously had to change that phone and that number because it was just getting silly. And then obviously someone used it for the benefits and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, so some crazy stuff going on, and I just thought that whoever they're aligned to, they need to do some discernment and do some healthy boundaries, because this didn't just happen to me. It happens to a lot of people, I think, especially when you're on this journey. But it is what it is. But yeah, the harem. So I'm just going to leave it at that for now. I'll probably do more on it because they're still sending out negative energy, and they're still trying to attach to you. And obviously there is a lot of people that are going through a lot of stuff, so they're pulling on me energy left, right and centre as well, which is why I'm trying to stay grounded for myself. But there's a lot of energy, and I think there's a lot of just energy going back, and that's not people doing any negative stuff, that's just the energy they chose to operate in, and now it's being returned, because in the age of Aquarian, karma doesn't take 20 years, it's instant. So that's why I say be mindful of the energy you put out, because it doesn't take 20 years for it to come back. There is no veil, not in the Piscean age anymore, and the ego age has well and truly left us, thankfully. We're in the Aquarius age of the oneness of together. So if it's a woman attacking a woman, I find that very odd, and if it's a man attacking a woman, I find that even stranger, because for me, the art of communication is so much more powerful than sitting behind the scenes and just constantly attacking someone without them understanding really why they're being attacked. hey ho, you know, everyone to their own. So anyway, I'm gonna love yous and leave yous because I'm standing on tiptoes here. If you saw how I have to do my thing, you'd be amazed. I'll see you later. Sending much love and light, and for those that need it, I'm sending a big hug, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.